In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the current conditions, the upcoming pattern, as well as another severe weather outbreak happening in a few days. Let's get straight into things, and we're taking a look at our current radar imagery. We can see the remnants of our previous severe weather outbreak right here. We can see this is basically what was that terrible line of thunderstorms that basically started over here, worked its way down into here, and eventually here, and then eventually towards the East Coast. Now it's offshore. So that is basically said and done. We have some remnants here in Florida. That is an area that we definitely need to still watch. We'll talk about that a little bit as we zoom into that region, but also when we're taking a look at this storm prediction center at the end of the video. So stay tuned for that as well. We also have some storminess out here for the Rockies. That's worth noting. There's some snowfall, some rainfall east of the Rockies. So basically some mixed precipitation. We do have some storminess up here for the northeastern corner of the United States as well. Mostly snowfall here for the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes. And then as we reach more coastal and southern regions here, we can see more of just that rainy precipitation. All right, now let's zoom into this region here. And as we can see, we'll take a look at the northern region first here. We see snowfall lingering through Montana and Wyoming there. And then for South Dakota and Nebraska, there's some spotty rainfall and snowfall going on. We can see in here some snowfall, and then also near the border of Wyoming and South Dakota, there's some snowfall. I believe it is very high elevation in there compared to the eastern region, so that has a lot to do with that as well. As we move further south, we can see it's also very elevation based, because here for southern Utah, we were seeing some rainfall. In northern Arizona, we were seeing some rainfall. And even northwestern New Mexico, we were seeing some rainfall. But then for these mountainous regions here in the Rockies, plenty of snowfall taking place for the Rockies in Colorado, as well as New Mexico. That's what we were taking a look at over there. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes, because we are seeing a flow of snowfall like this. Still some snowfall. And Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Wisconsin, all seeing some form of snowfall or at least mixed showers going on at this point. These are dissipating as the morning has gone on, as you can see. You might have noticed that this is really, really weakening towards the end of the model, or not the model run, the radar run here, or I guess radar loop is what it would be called. Kentucky down here in West Virginia, we've had some heavier showers, but these have also moved out and is causing some snowfall here for the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia. It's very, very typical for this area to see snowfall when everywhere else is seeing rainfall, so that's not too surprising. Now, we do have some heavier showers also along the eastern seaboard here taking place. Eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, portions of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and even Maine. There we're seeing these yellows and oranges take place, so especially in here, we are seeing some of those heavier showers taking place. Now, as we move down towards Florida, we can see some thunderstorms still taking place, and these are really, really training across this region, so this is a little bit concerning. We do need to watch this heavy, heavy rainfall combined with a lot of lightning. I was taking a look at it earlier. I had to turn it off because there was so much lightning you weren't even able to see. So we're not taking a look at the lightning on screen here. But there is some severe weather implications with this. We'll be watching for hail, tornadoes, and wind throughout the day today, and even actually throughout the next 3 days with this training storms that are just moving in just like this across. And you can tell probably some flash flooding is happening in there just because so many areas are seeing rainfall after rainfall after rainfall. That oftentimes can lead towards flooding. All right, now that's the overall look. What we're going to do here is move on and take a look at that modeled guidance and eventually the Storm Prediction Center updates, because we have a big update, let me tell you. All right, now let's first off take a look at our upcoming storminess. We can see all this storminess along the eastern United States will basically be moved out by tomorrow morning. We do get this next storm kind of developing here for the central United States, some snowfall up here on the northern end, and some rainfall and thunderstorms here on the southern end. So that is definitely worth noting. We do have a marginal risk, I believe, for the day today for Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, and Arkansas for those storms down there. And then eventually what happens is these also kind of transfer that energy down towards Florida. So that's why we're seeing just the severe weather threat kind of linger for days and days and days. It is very normal for the thunderstorm season, which is pretty much 90% of the year for Florida, for there to be a general thunderstorm risk or marginal risk almost every single day. So I don't want to overplay this, but definitely there is just that threat. There is just that little bit of elevated element there that can lead towards those severe weather you know, impacts, and we just want to be watching for it. We don't want to be caught off guard. Now, what we're really concerned about is this in here. What we end up seeing happening is a low develops up here, and we do get this storminess underneath, and this is kind of the beginning of this severe weather event developing. And what we're going to see is a low pressure center will actually develop down here with the severe weather. So we're gonna end up seeing mostly this happening down here. So let's just keep going with this. We could see a lot of this storminess down here for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and then even in through Louisiana by this point. So this is when this is really developing. Monday is going to be day 1 of this next severe weather event. Day 2 will be Tuesday, and that's going to be more for these middle portions here. We can see another snowstorm moving into the northwest, so this might be our next storm to watch out for. But we're going to focus on this primary one, and then even Wednesday, we're going to see a severe weather threat in there somewhere. And I think probably we'll see our next severe weather threat already starting somewhere in there, is my guess. So it's just going to be nonstop, and even as this moves down, this is a strong cold front associated with this low pressure center. And, as we're heading Wednesday into Thursday, this is racing through, and this does bring some storminess to the eastern seaboard by later on Thursday, April 7th. Again, lows about right there, 997, middle of our low pressure center, associated with very cold air that moves its way in. And then we see our next storm moving into the northwest. So we're starting to get into a stormier pattern look, honestly, for April. We're going to have to watch for that, because if that is the case, obviously this is a bad time of year for things to be picking up, but that's just how it goes usually. It usually does pick up this time of year, and that's the problem. That's the problem with this time of year, is that it does typically pick up. All right, now let's take a look at the temperature pattern now. All right, now currently we could tell there's some cold air bottled up here in the eastern United States. The cold front has not reached the eastern seaboard yet, but it will reach the eastern seaboard today. So we're going to have to watch for that, because by the time we're reaching really this evening, things are going to be cooling down for a lot of these regions. Things will be generally warming up out west. But as time moves on, yes, through the weekend, we do have this colder air still sitting over the eastern United States. It's not going to be that bad, though, honestly. We can see near the eastern seaboard, we're about 1 to 3 degrees below normal. You're not going to notice that. I'm fairly confident. It's not going to be above average by any means, so we're not going to be seeing like 70s and 80s for any of these regions. But it's not going to be terribly cold either, which I think is really, really good news. Let's see. Let's keep moving on with this. And we can see that generally we move back into a warm pattern by the time we're reaching about April 6th. So just a few days from now. The problem is that what the pattern keeps doing is we'll see a low pressure center come in that pulls down all the cold into the west, and that forces all this warmth that's over here to head into the east. And then the low pressure center develops and has a strong cold front, or it's more like probably here, has a strong cold front that is crushing through this warm air with very cold temperatures. And this is what's causing a lot of these severe weather setups. So we see cold in the east that lingers, and then warm air heads in right before these lows. And then the low with the cold front comes and crushes it out. So just like this. And then by this point, April 9th, it looks like we could have some very potent cold air. We'll have to watch this situation because there's some very warm air bottled up out west and some very cold temperatures out east. I mean, 10 to 15 degrees below normal here in these green regions. I'm pointing to some of the green regions. And then these blues in here, this is going to be about 15 to 25 degrees below normal. So significant departures from normal if this was to verify like this. And we really stick with it until the next low is coming through. And then again, we warm up for the eastern seaboard just in time for a cold front to really crush through and bring the cold air again. Like you can see, and we get far below normal temperatures again as we reach about mid-month, 15th, 16th, 17th time frame. And by the way, we took a look at the GFS model and the temperature anomalies. That's how we were able to get that long range on that one. So I threw this one in this time around just to get us a little bit of that extended range. Now let's take a look at the upcoming severe weather outbreak on the Storm Prediction Center. Well, we're not getting into the severe weather outbreak yet, but we do have day 1 categorical outlook here. Again, we do have this little bit of a thunderstorm risk throughout the day today for these regions, like I mentioned. Florida also has a marginal risk. We have 4 general thunderstorm risks, actually. The Dakotas, the south central United States, the deep south, and then even Florida, their general thunderstorm risks. Now, as we move towards day 2, this risk actually gets a little bit higher. Here for Florida, we do have a slight risk in there as well, so marginal. We expect isolated severe weather reports to be possible. Then the slight risk is where we expect things to really become more scattered in and a little bit more widespread than the marginal risk. Also note we do have a general thunderstorm risk there for northwestern Montana and northern Idaho. I don't know how it is that tiny and specific of a region, but nevertheless, we do expect potential thunderstorms up there. Day 3, we have 2 areas of thunderstorms, one here for the south central United States again, and then one here for Florida, where we do have a marginal risk for central Florida again, so 3 days in a row. Now, as we look towards the extended range, we start to see this severe weather outbreak. First off, Monday, we expect basically at least a slight risk here in this yellow region, but usually when they're this large, we can see a higher risk. But just like we saw, I think this previous, what was it, Monday? Was it this I think it was, Tuesday actually. We saw a huge slight risk that we saw in the extended range like this for Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, but it just stayed a slight risk. So it is possible, but with a larger slight risk like this for Texas and Louisiana, you would expect probably to go up to an enhanced at some point as we draw closer to this event. Now, day 2 of the severe weather outbreak, which is going to be really day 5 on our outlook, you can see things really aim towards the deep south. So this looks fairly familiar to our previous 2 severe weather outbreaks. We're going to have to watch this closely. Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and then the Florida Panhandle as well. And then day 6, we move up to portions of Mississippi and Alabama still, but also Georgia and Tennessee as well. And then it kind of remains a question mark if we will see any of these regions involved the day after. But the guess is probably yes. We probably will on Thursday see some sort of severe weather in here to some extent. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we're at a 4 out of 6. As we draw closer to this event, confidence will go up, obviously, but for now, that's just where we're at. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Lily Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Conley, Noah Harley, Michael Cotto, Lassa Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Calisi also. I would also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.